I'll retweet this thing. So you played PGA National?
Yes.
Did you play any good, or were you terrible?
Let's let some people get in here because they need to hear this.
I had probably,
like, considering the circumstances, probably the best 9 holes I've ever played on the front.
Seriously?
Yeah, I was so good at Ryan will vouch for it. I made 2 bogeys and parred everything else, but I had 6 birdie putts. Now they're 15 feet is normal. Okay, I can kind of go at this and make it, but it's also defensive putting. So it's just putt it and hold on. But
yeah, you're just avoiding a 3-putt at all times.
I played incredibly well. We played the tips on the par 3s, so it was sick. And then the back 9 totally melted down.
And that's when you went in the water twice? I saw your tweet about how.
Oh, yeah. I went in the water twice on 15. I went in the water once on 16. I went in the water once on 18. 5 balls over the last 4 holes. It was bad.
So was it was there a competition? Did someone win?
Yeah, there was. I don't know who won. We kind of just left after because it was weird. Last year it was fun with last year was fun because they had a lunch and awards and a presentation. And this year it was with COVID and everything, it was boxed lunch, gift bag, turn in your scorecard and go. So it was kind of weird, but they did the best they could. But we were, we shot as a 2-man team, straight up gross, even par on the front 9 as a 2-man.
Yeah. How?
Sick, dude. It was awesome.
So Baroff's really good or what?
He is good. He doesn't play ever, but he's next club pro. So, he's a 3 handicap. He's really good. He had a drive on 9 that I swear to God, on the 9th hole, he could have putted onto the green from his drive. He was 25 yards from the green. It was insane. Our caddy was we had this caddy. His name was Radar.
Cool.
And Radar was an old Dominican dude, and he had more Corona premieres than any of us. Every time we pulled up to they had a cooler every 2 holes, and Radar was just pocketing Coronas. I'm taking these home later trees. I'm not supposed to be doing this.
Yeah, right. You guys are the guys that let him get away
smoking
with that.
Dutch Masters, just cracking Coronas, living his best life. It was funny.
That's brilliant. Okay, so did you play drunk or were you sober?
No, I was pretty sober. I had some beers, but I wasn't drunk, but I wasn't totally sober either. But
so then, have you had a chance to peruse the board yet? I mean, we're about to get
a little bit. We'll get through it. Yeah, I listened to maybe 15 minutes of Pat and Jeff's show, and that's about it.
Okay.
Looked at Durell's sheet, which is always a go-to when you're feeling unprepared. So, yeah, I'm sure you'll get me filled in. We'll get dialed in. Match play week. We know the course. We know the setup. It's, it's kind of a shit show.
So, are you betting per pod? We can get into this probably. We could probably talk about stuff specifically what your card is going to be, because
8:28. We're a couple minutes early. Anybody in here, comment along.
Oh yeah, we're for the replay watchers. We're just talking quickly early. If we get a chance, typically we're running out of our bedtime routines and clicking live as things go at 7:30, 8:30 Eastern. We're a little early tonight somehow. It's a miracle. So we thought we'd get in here and do a little pre-show live for you guys. A
little hangout. Group hangout.
Yeah. So if we end up having time before this 8:30 start time that we typically go off at, we'll pop the lights on and we'll just start talking in live and shooting shit before we actually crank this music out. Should we just crank this music out? Is it almost time?
Let it rip, DJ.
All right, let's do it. Hey, everybody. I'm Chad Eckert. You can find me on Twitter at Idone, and that's Joe Idone. He's at Tour Picks, and we're the Preferred Lines podcast, tweeting at Preferred Lines. Find us streaming every Monday night right here on Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter for now, and going on to iTunes later. Just be prepared for that. Do that after this. So yeah, you're live. So chat along if you are here in the room, because we're gonna have some fun tonight. It's a little bit different. It's not the same old, because we got a little something different in the ball game here. We got a little match play, Joe. Do you like match play?
I love match play. Super fun, awesome format. I wish that I've made it known and I've caught some heat for it, but I wish the Tour Championship was not this form of match play, but a form of match play. But I'm a big fan of it. Love the little mix up, get out of the sort of monotone middle of the season, even though it usually feels like that. But right now we're so close. We just had the Players, we got the Masters into we're right in the middle of it, but still it's nice little breakup today. Fun stuff. Yeah, it's cool. You get the pods, you start a little early week of golf, a lot of golf. It can get a little boring by Sunday to some people, but I still like it. We're in the middle of March Madness. There's other things to watch if you want, but it's fun to bet on.
Well, there's also the Punta Cana Corrales tournament that has a betting board, and it's kind of weak and crazy and funny and looking, but we can bet that if you're not interested in the match play. Maybe we could discuss that, or maybe you just watch my First Look pod. I did a First Look pod every week on the Fantasy Golf Pod YouTube page. I go live as soon as I see the pricing and I talk about it. So I did that for the match play, and I also did that for the Corrales Punta Cana. At the same time, Joe, this week on our friends at the app Jock Market, are they providing us? I didn't even look.
Yes.
I just assumed they're not. They're providing the match play?
Not the match play. It's Corrales. It's Corrales, okay. But it will still be fun. They're working on. So I talked to them. They had kind of actually asked me and Rick for ideas on how that they could really do it with match play. So we kind of gave them some ideas. I believe that we are going to have a format rolled out, not for match play essentially, but for the Ryder Cup. So we're going to have a way to do Jock Market for the Ryder Cup. We're working on that. We're kind of toying with different ideas. But for this week, we just figured it was easiest to not try to rush it. And let's just do Corrales. It's not a bad field either. So it'll be a ton of fun. Use the promo code PL20 at the bottom. If you aren't on Jock Market and it's legal in your state, what are you doing? Right?
That's fun. Well, yeah. And then this is going to be this is the week that WW guy just rakes it all, because it's just like a crap field. And he just murders these crap fields, because he must have a strategy on buying everybody, as low as possible at certain points. I don't know what he does, but that WW guy's a crazy guy.
He does. Joe, he obviously puts in a ton. I think he throws down 4,000 or 5,000 into Jock Market every week. So when it goes bad, I'm sure it goes bad too. We see the first place. I made $1,000, but I'm sure when it goes bad, it goes bad. It's gambling. We know the deal. Right.
No, I lost money this week. It was the first time in a while, but it happens. Yeah. We talked right before clicking the music. We did go live a little bit early and let Joe brag about his front nine at the PGA National. But Charlie asks, are you over or under 95 today at PGA National? Because you got to play it. Under
Charlie. Oh, yeah.
All right. So, Joe, tell us why and what was up with that. And now, DFS Open.
Yeah.
It was a success, a smashing success. Brag about your world, Joe.
So we filled it, man. It took down to the very last hour and the help of all of my internet friends on promoting it, but we did it.
Cheers to that.
We filled it. Thank you. Cheers to that. Big time cheers. So we were the biggest fundraiser that the First Tee of the Palm Beaches has. So we raised a little over $31,000 this year, which is more than double what we actually did last year. We're hoping to make it bigger in the future. He's trying to set me up actually on a call with the PGA Tour and the head of the First Tee. They're trying to get me and Ryan on a call with them to figure out how, they were so excited and they were a little bit leery of it, but just the nature of it being DraftKings and all that, and not so sure, but they've seen the success, right? They've seen the response that people have had to it. They've seen the good that it can bring to them and the publicity it can bring to them. So they were very excited. They were very thankful. and they gave Ryan and I a spot in their event today that was held at PGA National. So I went under, Charlie, for the record. I don't know if you were here early. Best front nine of my life. Shot a natural 38, 2 over par.
On the tips?
No, so we played. Here's what we did. We did the par threes from the tips, and then when we got to the bear trap, Ryan and the other guy who like hit it like 40 yards further with me were like, we got to play the bear trap from the tips. I'm like, whatever. I'll do it. And then I started dunking balls in the water. But 48 on the back, 38 on the front, 86 under.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
What's your favorite hole today? Jesse wants to know.
So my favorite hole was number 11. And Ryan will tell you this. So number 11 is kind of a shorter par 4, but the pin is tucked all the way to the right. That's the one that VJ basically putted into the water. And I think Lee Westwood like couldn't get it up the hill.
Okay.
So Charlie probably knows this hole well, but I hit my drive a little to the right. It looked like it went into the water. It's about 260 to go into the water. We go down there and it's water's edge, West Bryan style, almost like had to get muddy, got my feet muddy. Ryan was safely left of the green. So our caddy told me to go for it. I grabbed a 7-iron. I hit it out of the mud to 12 feet. Missed the birdie putt. Yeah, it was sweet.
Of course.
It was sweet, but it was the shot of the day. Everyone unanimously agreed that the 7-iron out of the mud to 12 feet was the shot of the day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, great. We're so happy for you. Well, I was working and doing lame things in my normal life. You got to play PGA National. I'm not jealous at all or anything, but anyway, hey everybody, if you're new here, please subscribe to this stuff on the platform you use, and like and comment. It helps algorithms. That's important in our world. And Joe, can we just get right to the betting board, or what are we going to do? Or no, do we have to talk about our guy Michael, who won the DFS Open? And I wanted to have him on to talk to him, but he didn't even respond to my tweet at him. Thanks.
We should. I'm sure come on, Mike. He's a busy guy. He won the DFS Open. Next year, he's going to get in that event with 3 friends. So he's going to pull a full foursome into that event. He's going to get a part of the DFS Open in 2022. I actually talked today with the head at PGA National about doing it there, which would be cool. So when I started last year, originally this was like my idea. Just because they have 4 courses, right? They have a Palmer course right next to the Champ. And I'm like, how cool would it be to like have the tournament there that no one has to go anywhere. You just walk right over to the Honda. It'd be awesome. So they wouldn't even take my call last year. But
yeah, how much would that cost?
Well, I don't know. So last year, like the stipulation was that the one time when I finally got through the stipulation was everyone had to stay at the resort, which is like $600 a night. I'm like, no way. So
not for us.
All set up next week. I think that we can get a fair price given the amount that we raised for the first tee, and it's probably going to make the registration a little bit more expensive, but I think well worth it. Like, how cool will that be to like be playing there next to the Honda, literally as it's going on? Like you can
hear the crowds. Probably.
Like you're on one side of the water, and on the other side is like Matt Jones sticking shots to 6 feet, and you're playing there in the DFS Open next to them. Like, it's cool. It'd be fun.
Okay, well, we'll look forward to that. We're going to go there next year. We're going to do it in person.
You are coming.
You're in my group. Coming.
You're in my group.
Oh, we're doing it for sure.
Team preferred.
Yeah. We'll, maybe we'll always continue to do a DraftKings Open too, along with it. That was fun. I thought that was interesting.
I think definitely we will keep that as part of it with a spot to come the following year. So I think it was a great thing. Okay.
Thank you for everyone who did enter and donate. And even if you had James Hahn on 2 of your final 5 lineups, like, okay, whatever. It's for the kids. It's for the kids.
It's for the kids.
That's what happened to me, but whatever. Let's move on to the match play. This is what we're getting into this week. It has a betting board. It also, hey, you know what? I suggest printing this bracket off like it's March Madness. So print that off because this is going to be very helpful because you're going to have to figure out, is this a good bet? Should I make these 2 bets or 3 bets if they're all going to collide together at the Final Four and not going to be able to even have a chance to get to the finals together? So you kind of have to look at this. This isn't like normal where you just guess and you bet and whoever, it doesn't matter. There is something to this, right, Joe?
Yeah. How about the contest? Talk about the contest.
We're doing this on PGAtour.com. There is a contest or a thing. I don't know. PGA's giving money or someone's giving away money for if you have a perfect bracket or if you win the whole thing or whatever. We're just having our own little tiny league.
Yeah.
Fun. You can find it. I tweeted about it on the Fantasy Golf Pod and the Preferred Lines Podcast Twitter pages that you can enter for free. And there's no cost, no obligation to do this. It's just for fun. And if you do take it down and you are the winner, we will call you out next Monday and we will send you what, Joe?
So we'll send you a Preferred Lines t-shirt. I also, if we like
Preferred Lines t-shirt, I think I'm wearing one.
If we like you, yeah, one of those. Yeah. If we like you, we may have you on the show. If we like you.
Oh. Cool.
And 3, I will send you. So check out this poster behind me. You see that, guys? Right there.
Hold on, let me zoom in on you.
Tiger Sawgrass poster.
Okay.
He's in the shorts. He's in the straw hat. I have an extra one by chance. I'll send it to you.
Whoa, so
you'll
get into the contest. It's not that hard to enter. You just click a bunch of buttons like it's March Madness NCAA basketball style, and then this is just for golfers. Click, click, click. But make sure you do the third place game. I missed that when I was entering my tournament. But okay, so how do you want to do this? How do you want to break it down? Do you want to break it down just like we normally do? We look at the tippity tip top, we go from there, and we kind of piece through and see how it looks to us. Or we could break it down Jeff and Mayo style, where they went in each pod and kind of quadranted it out. I don't know if I have the patience for that. Ultimately, I think we can kind of talk through. I've got some talking points.
Okay. I'll roll with whatever you want to do, buddy, but I think we should just kind of go through the board in terms of odds like we always do.
Me too. Okay, so that would mean, Joe, at the tippity tip top, you can follow this on YouTube. I suggest doing it if you're on what's it called? iTunes. It's kind of more difficult. I'll try to MC it the best I can, and you can see a top price guy. The TPG is not Bryson on DraftKings. It's not. It's Dustin Johnson, but is Bryson here? Okay, so people are betting Bryson. This is different from when I looked at it earlier today. There was a tie at the top, so it looks like there's been some changes. No, okay, 4 guys are now at 14-1, and this morning it was only 3 guys. So it's not that big of a deal. I'm sorry I overreacted to that, but that's not that big a deal. But they've moved. Some of them were at 12-1 this morning, and now they're at 14-1. So whatever, I don't know. Wherever you can find the best number and click it and bet it. Do you like the Bryson, DJ, Rom, or JT at 14-1 at all?
No, not at the moment. I don't. I feel like we always see kind of like the March Madness aspect of craziness in the pool play that I remember, and it's kind of hard to come out of these. You end up with one tie. And all of a sudden, you essentially have to win your other 2 matches. So one loss and many times can put you out. One tie puts you in a must-win situation. And we've seen more times than not, a lot of these top players struggle to get out of pool play. So it's interesting. I would much rather prefer them at 12-1 in a traditional format where you're going to get 4 rounds against everyone's on an equal playing field versus having to come out of this pool and do match play style. So it's not for me. What about you?
No, I didn't do it. But hey, I'm going to give a plug to our guy. I mean, this Chris Durell dude is pretty solid with his sheets. I know he probably doesn't want me to do this, but I'm going to flash you what you can have for $5, people. You can have access on his Patreon to this insanity. Look at this insanity. And it's green and it's yellow and it's colors and it's blue and he's got the OWGR, he's got the odds, he's got the DraftKings price, he's got what seed they are, the group they're in. That's just the main cheat sheet. It has what their course history, their current form, and all the statistics you could possibly get. And then he broke it down and he put it in the bracket for you. So you can look at who's the DraftKings price is here. You can look at their ranking. Who has a tough seed pod based on seed? Who has a tough pod based on DraftKings price? He has this all broken down for you for $5.
It's so good.
Like, really do that.
The sheets are normally really, really good and helpful. And it's basically like the Cliff Notes version of Fantasy National, who we also love. But if you don't want to sit there and put in the work, and sometimes you're having a busy week, get Chris Durell sheet. It's
Well, you don't
$5.
even need. Yeah, there's no commitment to this Patreon page either. You just throw $5 to this guy in this one specific sheet, and then you get the sheet. You look at it for a few days, and then you're on with your life.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Chris Durell's sheets got me going today, and I got some answers today to the test. It's going to be great. So let's get
answers.
Some,
is that a lead in there?
No, I didn't. I actually don't really like Abraham answer this week. But DJ, okay, if he doesn't get out of this pod that he's in, I would call that the Oral Roberts upset of the freaking tournament here, because he's in one of the worst ranked pods according to Durell's spreadsheet, and like. It's DJ. I mean, he should be great. Now, might pose the biggest threat to him, and DJ's at the top of the betting board here. But then I don't know. I wanted to do the top of the board. I did look at John Rahm too up here. I just can't do John Rahm at 14-1. It just doesn't feel good enough. I don't get enough out of it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. DJ is it feels easy that he gets out of that pool, but just the recent form has not been good. The last two tournaments have not been great. The last two tournaments specifically that he played here have not been great. So it's tough to pull him here at 12 or 14.
I'm just saying, like, DJ is the Gonzaga of this tournament. Like, he's undefeated coming in looking like a lock to go to the Final Four. So it will be surprising if DJ doesn't get there. Now, JT, on the other hand, is the 2 seed overall, and JT's on the other side of the bracket. But JT drew the freaking pot of death with the Louis Oosthuizen and the Matt Kuchar and the Kisner. This is crazy. This is sad for JT because a lot of people like JT.
Yeah, we know about Kiz's prowess in match play. We know about Kiz's history here, so that's tough. Kuchar, obviously not great form, but good in match play as well. Good here as well. And then obviously Louis is dangerous. Like Louis advanced here very far, and Louis just isn't – he just doesn't seem to make like big mistakes here. So he's not going to go out there and burn it down with birdies, but he's also going to make you earn every point that you get against him. And should you have a couple mistakes and put a couple OB, he's going to be quick to take advantage. He's a tough out. So they're all tough outs.
I'm thinking this week more than ever, you got to look at a guy. I mean, statistically, you could look at a guy that, has done well statistically. If you want to lean stats more or less in the putting department, that's kind of what I look at. If they can putt well, because putting makes a difference when you're saving an 8-footer for par to have a hole, or you're saving a 15-footer for par, or you're putting the pressure on them with this, and you're getting the pressure back to you, but you're a good, confident putter. That's helpful in match play. But at the same time, do you think these elites, they don't make any – there's no difference between any of the elites, that they all have the same ultimate chance to advance? So, I mean, I can't do this 14-1 stuff. Yeah,
too high, too low of a number for me on all those guys, yeah.
Okay, so then we go to the next level, and that's the 25s out. They just clamor. There's just a ton of names in this 20 range. It's just kind of weird to me, because normally you don't see this. Rory, you can get a 20 on. But Rory's in the ROM region of doom. Like, it's insane. The, ROM region. I don't know if you've seen that yet, but that's almost impossible to get out of. So you got Morikawa, you got Cantlay, you got Casey, and you got Spieth. They're all about 26, 25, 22, depending on the book. And you got Finau's even in there. Hovland's in the 20s. Patrick Reed, Xander Schauffele looks like he's at 28-1. I mean, these numbers look great. If it was a normal stroke play event, you'd have Patrick Reed, or you have, I don't know, maybe not necessarily great, but at the same time, how do you even decide? How do you decipher who you're going to put money on this week? I'm confused.
It's tough, but you're right. The numbers are pretty great given the fact there's only 64 players, right? You're getting these guys that are, 25, 28-1. How do you decipher? It's tough. I went Vic Hovland, 28-1. I was ready for that number before it came out. It came out at a place I wanted to bet it, and he was the first pull of the week for me. I have a feeling that's probably – I haven't listened to a lot yet or done a whole lot of digging, so you'll kind of have to help me out here. But I have a feeling that's probably going to be a very popular pick. I know.
Well, I'm just curious, Joe. Are you worried that he's new here and that he has not had a match play experience? Is that something that you're using as a – I mean, clearly you're not, because you're going to use him. So I kind of lean away from the guys that don't have this experience and aren't savvy to the strategies because we know it's a strategic kind of thing. That's what I was going to say too, is that you got to have the mental game this week. Big time.
Big time. Yeah. And I know he doesn't necessarily have the experience here, but he talked about, and I forget the article that I read last week about how much he loves the match play format, how much he was looking forward to getting into this event, and how he thought that he thrived in that type of format, particularly in college when they would play match play events. He thought he was best suited there. I know that, gosh, it's kind of slipping my mind right now, but what was the event at Pebble that he won? Was it the USAM or something that's match play that he ended up winning at Pebble Beach that was match play format a few years ago? So, yeah, I think that different types of players relish this type of format, and I think that he may be one of them, even though that we haven't necessarily seen that come to fruition just yet. But I think that may be why we're getting a little bit of a discount here on the price.
Now, he's with Anser, Wiesberger, and Streelman, so it seems like he won't have too hard of competition to get out based on how well he's played Victor Hovland lately. And then would it be fun to see Hovland versus Morikawa? Because Morikawa is in right below him with Horschel, Homa, and Poston. And I wanted to make a note on that particular pod because you got Morikawa. We haven't really talked about him. And, I mean, in order to bet him, what is he at? Like 20? He's at 18, so like whatever. But then he's with Horschel, Homa, and Poston. Horschel is one of the only guys in that pod, the only one with this match play experience. So I feel like Horschel's going to get out of that pod, and it's going to be a Ho versus Ho versus a Ho versus Mo. Would you prefer to see the Hovland Morikawa? I think that'd be fun. Wouldn't it be fun to see?
Oh, it'd be so much fun. Yeah. And I think that so Morikawa, I don't know that this is necessarily like where I said that it is a strong suit of Vic Hovland. I just don't know if I feel like he's going to be a great match play player. And you can kind of take it back to college, right? A lot of college golf is match play, and that's where Vic did so great. And as good as Morikawa was, he was kind of the third, not even the third in many cases. He didn't have as big of a college career as Hovland or Wolff. So, yeah, I wonder about it, but yeah, would certainly love to see that matchup. It would be great to see the two young guys go at each other. I know that they're close friends. They would obviously be on opposite sides of a potential Ryder Cup team, so it would be a ton of fun to see, and hopefully we can get a little bit of a rivalry out of them. That'd be fun.
I would love to see a couple matchups that give us kind of a tease, into what we're going to have in the Ryder Cup. Now, Patrick Cantlay is thrived as Captain America in the Ryder Cup, and I like him, especially if you can get him at 25 or so to 1.
Wait, Cantlay or Reed?
What did I say, Reed? I meant Reed.
You meant Reed?
Yeah. Joe, yeah, I've been drinking.
You said Captain America and then Cantlay, so I was like,
yeah. But I love both the Patricks. You got
it's APPR around here. I know
APPR. I love Patrick Reed. I mean, like we're gonna play Patrick Reed. We're gonna bet Patrick Reed almost every time.
We should.
I do like Patrick Cantlay as well. That's maybe why I was thinking that, but I might not do Cantlay because of the concern I have that he just withdrew. Do you want to see him say that he is healthy, or how do we?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm betting Patrick Reed live on the show right now. I can't miss that. He's 28 to 1. Like, come on. Sorry to interrupt the show. Your regular.
I did the same this morning.
I just made a live bet on Patrick Reed. Yeah,
one of the first things I bet on. Now, Patrick Reed is with Neiman, Bezuidenhout, and Watson. Didn't Watson win this 2 years ago?
Yes.
3 years ago?
Yes.
2 years ago?
Watson.
Well, so that could be a tough out, and Neiman can be he could get hot fire. So, like, what if Reed and Neiman play the one match they play and Neiman just comes out scorching hot? Like, this is what happens. So, temper your expectations of these names. And when you're, making a bet, I don't know. It doesn't feel like the best betting event pre-tournament as much as it does, like, in tournament. Does that make sense? Because, like, I feel like you can learn something.
It does still feel like in this range, once you got to 25 and on, that there is some value in these guys. I mean, these are the types of numbers they were putting on these guys in normal WGC fields that are 75, 80 players. Now we're down to 64.
Anything can happen and anyone can get hot.
Anything can happen. And, the only thing I would say about Neiman is I had a lot of them last week, and he didn't play great. In playing PGA National, you know, I know that he had family, friends in town at the event, probably hosting them a little bit. It's a grind of 4 days of very difficult golf. And then you're going to go, you know, obviously he's young and he can do this, but he went from the players, or he went from the API to the players, then to Honda, and now he's going to go on a kind of a short week. So it just seems like, you know, when you're looking in like football betting, you're like, is this a bad spot for them? You know, they just came off a big Sunday night home game in the division, and now they got to go on Thursday night and play a weird game against the Cardinals or something like that. So it feels kind of like that for Neiman a little bit. So that's what I would say there. But yeah, I think Bubba can be dangerous. But I like Patrick Reed. It's match play. You're right, Captain America, and he's 28-1. It feels like a great number on him.
I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but I will say that I hope that they end up having Patrick Reed versus Bryson final.
Oh, please.
But anyway, I was going to ask you about Xander, though, because I like Xander, and you're finally seeing Xander at a reasonable 25-1, which is kind of crazy to see a Xander at that number. He is in the pod of doom, and he is in the region of death. So, I mean, it is crazy how Xander has to go for Scheffler and Day, who I think are both capable of coming out of the whole thing. And then he has to pass by a Rory or a Cam Smith, if that happens, or even a Lanto or a Poulter. And then he's got the Berger, and then he's got the Rahm, and, you know, good God, I don't know. Can Xander pull this off and become the best golfer of all time by getting through this pod?
I don't know if that makes him the best golfer of all time, but yeah, he's definitely in a tough pod. He's definitely in a tough setup in terms of, you know, the first of all, the three guys he has to get out of group play, and then likely go through Rory, and then likely go through Rahm to get into the final four. So all that could totally change. He's one of the top probably 8 players in the world. So can he do it? Of course he can. And you're right. It is. We are kind of finally getting a number that seems bettable on Xander if you like it. It just sucks that comes along with, you know, getting an unfortunate draw, I would say.
True. Now, I don't know why, but I've heard today, you need to know this, that everybody thinks Spieth's draw is like easy, and that he has got Wolff, who's basically like dead and a sitting duck. And then you got Fitzpatrick that needs a putter, it seems like, and might just not care as much. I don't know. And then Connors clearly needs the putter too, and he probably won't have it. So does Spieth have the easy route out of the pod? I mean, and would you bet him at 25-1?
I'm not, no. But
isn't Spieth's game set up
today, and Ryan bet him, and Ryan hates Spieth. So maybe there's
because it's match play, you know. It's like he can luck box. He can have an 8, and it doesn't matter anymore.
It's a very good point.
The loss of a hole. You know, it's not like he's out of it by 3 strokes.
It's a solid point. But is he – maybe he can get out of there, but is he going to get by Justin Thomas in the next round? No, it's like – I don't know. Anything can happen. Not. You're right. It's match play. Anything can happen. He's playing great right now.
25.
He got his swagger back, as they say. But
how is he 25-1 and he's the 49th ranked player? I mean, people are going to – I don't know. This
doesn't add up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to be on the Spieth this week. I'll enjoy a Spieth JT matchup in the second round. That'd be great. But let's go to the 30s. Or should we talk about everybody? Why not? Talk about Tony Finau. We forgot him. Then we can move on.
Nope.
Do you have anything to say about Tony? Are you going to have – this would be the week to have Tony win a match play and get off the schneid. All right. So here we go.
30s. So –
Berger.
Let me see. Who do you got on? We've got Berger. We've got Cam Smith, who I kind of like. We've got Hatton at 35. I would love that number. I don't see that one.
35-1 on Hatton. Where did he come? Where's he in this pod thing? Oh yeah, he's over with Westwood, Garcia, and Wallace. And actually, I'm probably going to use Hatton, but I like someone else in his pod. And I like Webb, dude. I like Webb Simpson. 35-1, because this is the thing where a hot putter can really get you far, and experience, keeping your head together. Now, again, mental capacity. That's why I think Bryson is going to be good here. I think there's people that can think about the fact that oh well, I'm in a position on a hole at this current moment what do I need to do? And it really does matter. You can't just decide I'm going to lay up here. It has to be like, if I go here or here or here, what does that do to this guy over here? How does that make him feel? How does that put him in a position to make a different shot and play something different that he didn't want to do? So all of this is just insane. That's why Tiger was the best ever at the match play stuff. And sometimes DJ can be good because he can just turn his brain off completely and just play really good golf. There's different types of talent in a match play event, but I think you need the mental fortitude. And I think you need the caddy team combo of Webb Simpson and his guy, what's his face? Paul Tesori.
Love it. Great caddy team combo. It just seems like Webb is kind of drifting a little bit into a range where he feels bettable. So I'm with you there.
Well, and then I like the fact that like he is underdogged to Casey pretty much. Casey's pretty much right here in the same betting number. And then you got Mac Hughes I'm not afraid of, and Gooch I'm not afraid of. And then the next pod I do, every pod is good names. My gosh, this is hard to figure out. So whatever. Did you like anybody else? I mean, like M. His iron play has been so bad. We're not on M, are we?
No, not on M. I'm considering Cam Smith.
Okay.
He was really just.
Oh yeah, the President's Cup guy.
Yeah, President's Cup. Yeah, he obviously at the time it felt like Justin Thomas was the number one U.S. player, and on that Sunday where the U.S. had that great comeback, he was like the bright spot for Team International.
Sure.
Slayed Justin Thomas, took him out. That was one of the only wins that they had on that day. So he's in a bracket with Rory, who's struggling, who's got a new swing coach, who's going through changes, who's not playing good golf. He's got Lanto, who's kind of new here. Don't know how much match play experience he has. And then he's got Poulter, who's not playing great either, but who's traditionally a good match play guy. But it just seems like one that he could come out of. And then once you're out, right, once you're out of that pool play, everything above 30-1 feels like a good, valuable number.
Let's see with Lanto, because I'm consulting Durell's sheets. There's so much information. I could barely find it where he is. Oh my God, where is Lanto? No match play experience. Anyway, let's go to the 40s where my guy, the guy that I like the most, sits. His name is Sergio Garcia, Joe.
Why do you like him? Let's hear it.
Well, so I did actually spend a little time going through each of the names and kind of researching why I like somebody or why I don't like somebody. And I do kind of like Sergio for what I've talked about. Hey, mental guy, been around, knows how to play match play, has had experience at match play in the Ryder Cup, etc. We know this. Sergio also gets ruined by one of two things. It's short putts and it's bad holes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at this kind of thing, he's going to get his conceded short putts. He's going to just say, fuck this hole, his bad holes. So it won't matter, and it won't mentally mess with him. And he's been close.
Wait, isn't this where he got into the thing with Kuchar because he didn't get the putt conceded?
Correct. I was going to ask you, was this here?
Yeah,
I couldn't remember exactly, but he was like, he didn't concede it to Kuchar, or Kuchar didn't concede it to him? Was it?
I think
that was what it was.
Kuchar
and then he didn't get into the final four because
and then they had to put out like a "We're Still Friends" video the next week.
They were like on the cart, the golf cart, like hugging or whatever. Yeah, that's funny. No, so I mean, 5th last year, 9th in 2018. Loves Pete Dye. We know this. He likes match play. It's Sergio Garcia at 45-1. I mean, you can get some good return on that. And then we look at the pod and we go, I'm not too scared of Hatton. He can get mentally out of it. You got Westwood's tired as hell. And then Wallace, I didn't see anything I liked out of Wallace last week or the week before. Right. So Sergio's out of this pod, and then he's got to just take down Casey or Simpson or whatever. You can do that. And then you can get past Leishman or DJ. I think this is Sergio's time. Get to the Final Four. Get back to the title. I don't know. It could be the house bet.
Could be the house bet. Love it.
We'll see. Who else is in this 40 range? Yes, to Sergio. See, Charlie. If Charlie likes him, you got to like him. Thanks, Charlie. Louis here. Scheffler's here. Jason Day. We're going to the 50s. Jason Day is someone I also like. Why wouldn't you like Jason Day at 50-1?
Yeah, he's in that group with Xander and Scheffler, right?
Yeah, he's like in the
he's
hard
won
group.
here. right?
Yeah,
He's
but see, that's the thing. It's like there's a reason he's 55-1, and all he has to do is get out of this, and then you got a 55-1 Jason Day with some confidence. And we saw it. The players, Joe, statistically, he was great with his irons, but poor with his putter. So I'm guessing that's what he's been working on the last few weeks. Jason Day is just a big time practice guy, and we know he likes to practice putting. So, and then the swing changes he made clearly are clicking if he's getting the best tee to green numbers of the players. Cost him a win almost, but hey, 55-1.
No doubt. We saw the ball striking return. We saw a little bit of the driving return as well with the week before at API. So it's the putting right now, which is letting them down, which we talk about all the time. If there's one part of a player's game that is hurting him right now, I want that part of their game to be the strength, like long term, right? Like we talked about it with Adam Scott last week. I think in all performed pretty well. He was in a lot of the winning lineups. He was in the DFS Open winning lineup. But what we saw was, he was so poor off the tee for a couple weeks there. And all of a sudden he has a week where gets that back, right? And he talked about it in his presser and was like, look, all it takes is a couple sessions on the range, and I feel like that's the quickest thing that can return to my game. He played okay, gained a ton of strokes putting, obviously, which he's been doing, which is unusual for him. But when those type of things are happening and the strength of their game as a whole is kind of letting them down, that's what you kind of look for. So we're definitely seeing that with Jason Day right now.
Good point. All right, cool. So we keep going down the list. Do you have anything else to say about like Corey Connors is here and answer, or even Hideki? They got no chance to do that.
I don't have much to say about any of these guys. There was a couple of guys, I took a look at Will Zalatoris.
Yeah, because he's in a decent
He's just in the Finau region.
Yeah. He can get out of that.
I feel like he can come out of that. And then you have Kokrak with no experience here. You have Fratelli, who I don't know if he has any experience here, but I doubt it's great experience here.
But he likes Texas, I'm told.
Yeah, so he's from Texas. He went to UT, so but Zalatoris has just been so solid, and if he can make it out of there, I feel like he can, be one of these sort of 3 seeds within the pool to sort of make it out. And then there was a couple guys I had some interest in as long shots, basically.
Well, okay, I was going to say about Kokrak, he showed up on this putting statistic stat I posted on the Fantasy Golf Pod Twitter page. We looked at strokes gained putting for the whole season, and he's on there per round gaining strokes. Now, he has to do that, and that could happen, and that's a way and a road for Kokrak to get past even Bryson at some point, maybe. But, yeah, I think Zalatoris could surprise everybody, and I don't know if I keep being surprised by Zalatoris. He's not afraid of anything. It's great.
Right.
Now, Henley looked good last Sunday in final round.
He did.
Yeah.
And Thursday. He looked really good Thursday, too.
But God, he's now the Leishman, Perez, Im, and Henley pod. Like, that's probably the shittiest pod, like, overall. I've evaluated because Im is not the same Im. He's kind of a fraud right now with his irons. Perez, I mean, like, how the hell is he even 31st in the rankings? That's ridiculous. And then Leishman hasn't been that great either. And then Henley's probably the best player in this pot.
I don't know if he's it's tough. I don't think he's the best player, like, overall, but I think he may be playing the best.
Right. Like, if in today's terms, but Leishman could be the guy that he can get hot with the putter too. And if he gets hot, he could come out of that pot and he could take DJ down. And we know that he has the capability of rising to a moment. Mark Leishman, where is he at? He's at 125-1.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This is why I come up with scenarios and things in your mind that it's kind of like the NCAA tournament where you pretend like you have any idea what's going to happen and then rip this up at about 5 o'clock on Wednesday. Be done with this thing. But anyway, so Max Homa's been playing great. He's here at 90-1. Who's your long shots though, Joe? Give us your name.
Okay, so 2 guys that I liked were Brian Harman and Siwoo.
Okay, Brian Harman is here at 90. Did you get 90? And same with Siwoo.
No, I haven't actually bet either of them yet, but there are 2 that I'm looking at. So I will. Okay. Harman, great finish at the Players.
Sure. Birdie Brian
has a top 10 here in his only run through this place, I believe, which was 2 years ago.
Okay.
So just steady. Like he's the type of guy, like I was talking about before, that just doesn't seem like he's going to make a lot of mistakes, and feels like he could maybe potentially weasel out of that bracket that he's in.
Especially if Cantlay's not 100% healthy.
And Hideki's not playing well. If Cantlay's not 100% and he's not into it, and Cantlay's focus may be more, I don't know if this is like his cup of tea, so to speak.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think he's like more anxious. Like, let me get to Augusta. Let me like start my early Masters prep. Like, I'm here for the payday. I'm here because I'm one of the top players in the world. But like, it just doesn't feel it doesn't feel like an event that he's going to win. I don't know.
You want the guy. You want the Patrick Reed, dude. You want the guy that's like. You want the Kisner. Like, do you remember Kisner putting in the fat dip and like staring at dude and like having the like, I'm angry and I want to murder you and your entire family and take everything from you. Match play mentality. It was great, and that's what it's kind of endearing. You want that in your guy. So,
Siwoo just feels like a guy that you have to bet 80, 90 to 1. I feel like you have to bet him here. I feel like,
and you want guys that could just rocket ship and soar. Like that's the guy you want in this match
because it takes to hold it together. And we know his love for Pete Dye. He's had good finishes here in the past. He's in there with Tommy, who hasn't been playing well. Rosner, I'm going to totally write him off. And then, he's got to go head to head. He's got to beat Bryson, right? And I know he's not afraid of it. He'll go in there and he's going to be aggressive and he's going to take on everything with driver, and he could take out Bryson. And then, like you said, once you get out of there, anything can happen. Exactly. We've seen the volatility with Bryson, and when he's on, he's on. But when he's off, there are some really wayward shots that could get him into some trouble. And if Siwoo, like that is something I can totally envision seeing happening, where we're in one of these matches and we see Siwoo. Everyone's going to think it's a huge upset when he beats Bryson. And it's not going to feel like that big of an upset to me. It's just going to feel like he had a better day.
There is something, though, about the Siwoo where he'll just say, we go home now.
Yeah. We go. Yeah,
there's like that.
Now we go home. Yeah, but look. All right, so Bryson's 12 to 1. Siwoo's 90. He's 90 to 1, and he wants to go home. Fuck it, you threw away $10 or whatever it is.
Less than that for me. That'd be $1 on that one.
But the upside is Final Four, baby.
Totally. Like, he has great upside, and he's won already this season.
And he's won some of the other guys. Even, I mean, I know you're a big hedge guy. We know this. Fans of the show will know this. But
oh my God, I have a story for you about
Oakland in the Final Four at 28 to 1, and he's going up against, let's just say, Webb Simpson, Vic, and I'm not hedging on Webb when I've got Vic at 28. Like, that's just I'm going to ride it out with Vic. But if Siwoo's there at 90 to 1 and he's playing Webb, like, I will probably hedge it at that point. You know what I mean? So it's just such a big number. It affords you those opportunities when hedging can play a little bit more. It may be a little bit smarter in a match play event when there's only one of two outcomes. It's either heads or it's tails. Versus, you can hedge someone. You can say, okay, it's Bryson and this guy. Okay, but here comes Lee Westwood storming up the leaderboard. And then, you don't have one of them. So.
Or a Chase Cypher.
Like Jesse said, Bryson may be too focused on the NFT game this week. To be dialed. Yeah, he's going to be making those things are going to go for so much money. It's going to be stupid.
God, it's so stupid.
Someone's going to spend so much Ethereum or whatever it is on that shit. It's going to be unreal. It's going to be mind-boggling what they spend on that.
Well, okay, I'll give you a couple more names that you could maybe hedge with, and once they get to the Elite Eight or the Final Four of this thing, and you got Munoz 175 to 1. This has been a type of thing where Munoz will be in a Rahm, Palmer, Lowry and get overlooked, and he'll be 175 or 200 to 1, and no one will think it. But he doesn't go. I've said this for months.
That's a tough bracket, though. That's a tough pool
for 175 to 1. He's not going to enter it like the Victor Perez or the other idiots that are in these other ones that are 175 to 1 around. He's going to enter against Rahm and Palmer and Lowry, and he's not going to give a shit that's Rahm, Palmer, and Lowry. This is Munoz. He is like, I swear, he's like he's built from a different generation of the 1960s or whatever. You kind of see him, and he's just like this kind of stoic walk, and he doesn't give a shit. Like if it was the 1960s, he'd be huffing a cig and flicking it super far. I mean, he's chill, dude, and he's 175 to 1. So if he can just emerge from that, then boom, you hedge life. Now, again, going back to my putting statistic, you need hot putters. You want guys that get hot, because this is how I found Lucas Bjerregaard 2 years ago when he beat Tiger. Everyone was shocked, and I was like, I called this shit. I don't know why or how I called it, but it was because of Bjerregaard showed up putting from 10 to 15 feet. He's like making putts. I don't know if it was like 3 putts total that he made. It just happened to show up. I happened to click it, got lucky. But there are putters that are actually good at putting. JT Poston is known as a good putter. Mackenzie Hughes, also known as a good putter, 200 to 1. And if they get hot with their putter any day, 2 days in a row, lights out, you can't stop these dudes. They just will torch you with the putter, and you will have a great round. You'll probably shoot 68, 67, but you won't win against a hot putting Mackenzie Hughes or a hot putting JT Poston. And they're 200 to 1.
Big numbers. Question for you, one that we missed. I'm waiting on you to kind of tell me when it's time again, because I'm not feeling it. But if you tell me it's time, what do we do?
Well, you made a point just a minute ago. No, I haven't yet. I don't even know his number. He's 125 to 1. Matt Wolff. Now, Matt, we're a Wolf Pack podcast here. Now, not lately, because he's been letting us down.
He could come out of there, though, with Fitz, right? Steve, and Connors. He could come out of there.
I would not be shocked, honestly, if we saw Wolff versus JT and the smile is back and this kid has got it going again. Now, could that be because his doctor prescribed him some medication and it's kind of kicked in? He
took a couple of gummies before he's
working. Yeah, I don't know, maybe. But at the same time, people don't stay down like this. And you just said earlier about how in college these dudes match played the hell out of each other and they know how the mentality is. And Wolff is like a Reed. Wolff is like a killer, and he wants it. And maybe he could emerge from this. He can come out of this, and he could potentially put some little marks on his resume come September.
I'm waiting for you. You let me know.
Oh, I don't know. No, but I'm not on Matt Wolff right now.
Okay, we'll wait. Maybe soon. We'll know when it's time. We're big.
We are wanting the smile. We want the smile back.
We want the smile. We're pro Wolfpack. We want the smile. I want the club twirl. I want the swagger. I want the bounce.
I want him hitting and him, where he goes, he hits the guy and he laughs. He's like,
yeah. I want to see him talking, right?
Yeah, he's always, how he is. But that's not been him lately. So
that shit at the concession was like disappointing. When he was, I forget, his playing partner said something like, maybe he played out of turn or something like that, and they were really upset with his demeanor, and he did something else wrong, and then he did the thing where he putted it. It looked almost intentional.
Like he was practice putting and he hit the ball?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to say that. But
and then he didn't even care. He was like, whatever, I'm 11 over.
You know what else sucks, Chad?
What's that?
Brooks.
Oh, I know.
That sucks.
Are you sad about that? Because he's dead, right?
He felt like he was back.
He was back. He won a tournament. He won the WGC or the Waste Management Phoenix Open, and then he. What happened?
I heard it was we talked a little bit about it. We kind of had the inside source a week ago that this is happening, and I heard that from one of the guys that he slipped, and I don't know if that's true.
Was it on a stairs?
No, by the pool.
Shut up.
Yeah. And I don't. It's not a reliable source, so don't quote me on that, guys. But if it was something like that, that just sucks, right? Just in total accident, having.
So he's feeling really good about his life, and he's having a good time, and his knee's fine. He's not even thinking about golf, and then this isn't even sports related at all.
I'm worried because
maybe he's accident prone.
Win another major? I don't know. I would have said for sure, but first it was the wrist, then it was the hip. Then it was the knee. Now this is the other.
There was a neck, wasn't there at some point?
There's the neck. It's a lot of injuries.
He's constantly getting chiropractor work on the course.
He's carrying a lot of weight and muscle. I don't know. It's just he's not built like Justin.
Plus, he's not the guy. He's definitely not a Michael Jordan type where he wants to be the best of all time and like kill everyone. Like he's like, oh, I've made $10 million. Like I got the hot chick, and who gives a
think
shit?
of how long it really took him 2 years to come back from where he was, and he had just wasn't even totally back by his standards,
Right.
and he had just kind of won and started to feel good, and prep for the Florida swing where he was going to play a ton. Like he was going to play the Honda, he was going to play these events, and he had to pull out. And now he's out for the Masters. I wouldn't be surprised if he's out for the PGA as well. Potentially U.S. Open, but he's not going to make a Ryder Cup team now because he's not going to have the points. So this all sucks. It sucks.
How funny though. He's such a fraud. He's like, we'll just see about the Masters.
Yeah, right.
You're not playing the Masters, you liar.
Playing the Masters in 2 weeks.
Like,
how long was your
if
surgery?
you're Casey Martin and you get a golf cart, you can maybe.
I was sleeping. I don't know how long the surgery was. I was asleep.
That's such a Brooks comment.
I know.
Oh my God.
I know. But I root for him, though. I hope he gets back healthy.
Yeah, same. He will. He's fine. He's young. He's like 31.
Worried about him, though. Worried about my guy.
Okay, well, don't worry about your guy because you need to worry about this bracket and signing up for that. We have got a link to the PGA Tour's little bracket challenge, and you can join our private league. Search for that, or I think it's Preferred Lions Fantasy Golf Pod, all one word on this search, or maybe whatever. I don't know.
We'll tweet it out. We'll tweet it out.
A long day for me, Joe. I've anyway. What else? You gotta win a T-shirt if you get into that thing and you win. You win a T-shirt. You win a poster.
You win a poster. We'll shout you out. It'll be fun. We'll all get in there.
You can't be some guy we don't know. Or if you are, you better be following us so we know how to find you.
Yes. Follow, like, subscribe, comment. All that
good stuff. Hey, now also sign up for the Jock Market. It's a great website. Well, I don't know. It's not a website. It's an app. Dude, it's been the longest day for me, honestly. And I don't know, dude. I've got a pretty busy plate this summer with my real job. So, we might be winging a few pods this summer, boys and girls.
We need some other sponsors to step it up. If you're listening right now and you've got a company where you're an exterminator, you're a plumber, you can sponsor a segment on the show. We need some dollars coming in the door so that we can keep interrupting our dad life, our work life, to come to you guys every Monday night.
Yeah, so we could do the Tippity Tip Top, sponsored by Ken's Exterminator. He's in Richfield, Minnesota. You can call him at 612-7.
Jeff, slide in the DMs, man. We're open for negotiation.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Jeff, we don't really need any money. We're just doing this for fun. This is a great time. We're friends in you got a real studio now. Look at you. I'm in the garage, but you're in a room in your house with air conditioning.
Yeah, I'm inside. Yeah, the garage situation. Well, you're kind of in it too, but the garage situation in South Florida is muggy. There's no air movement. It is 90-some degrees, and there are mosquitoes and roaches everywhere.
Well, and then you're expected to put these hot lights on you to make your face shine.
Yeah. But you've got a different situation you're dealing with.
Oh, I'm happy when the lights are on until it's July.
Listen, you win a couple more house bets. We'll get you build a new house. We'll get you out of there. Studio.
Exactly.
Season.
We're working on it. We got some juicy plans. Now, I was thinking about going with the quadplex, a fourplex this week. I'm going to put my fourplex, I was going to do like a duplex, and then just do the final four. I'm thinking about making something creative like that, but I don't know. I probably don't have time for that. So wait for that on Wednesday afternoon. I do that on my real estate / fantasy golf page, Idone Realty. Because I'm a Idone Realty agent.
Can we get a Idone Realty to sponsor?
I don't want them to know
that segment.
Yeah. I barely want people in my office to know that I do this.
I know. Same. We keep it on the low.
Okay, you guys are awesome. I appreciate all of the liking and the subscribing that you've already done and you're going to do like good people. Hey, thank you, Joe, for putting on that great program, the DFS Open, a great fundraiser for the first tee. Seriously, you've got some good karma points. And I mean, it paid you bigly last time you did this. You got $112,500. So
Yes.
big karma coming. So if you did enter that DFS Open, you do probably have some karma coming. If you've lost some money on that donation, just don't worry. Keep entering.
Keep the dream alive. See you, gang.
Cheers, boys.
Peace.
Oh, Charlie says the Home Depot house best. I should call them. Oh, God, that's funny. Thanks, Charlie. You're the best. Thanks for chatting along. See you guys later. Talking to you. Bye-bye.
Peace.